Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my first time-lapse art video. Today we are creating an illustration using the Ohuhu markers and Prismacolor pencils that I got in the Mossery x Gretel Lusky art kit. If you'd like a more detailed explanation of the kit and the supplies that came with it, then there is a video on my channel all about that. The paper I am using is the Daler Rowney Smooth Heavyweight paper pad, and this paper is so nice to work on, and the markers just glided onto the page. It was so nice and smooth. Don't get me wrong, textured paper is really nice too, but you just can't beat that super smooth feel. I love this paper so much. So a little backstory to this piece is that I was feeling really low and uninspired this day. I was in a real funk and I just could not motivate myself to do anything productive at all. So what I did was I told myself, Emily, you can have 1 hour to lie on the couch and feel like poo, and then you are going to create something. And if you watch my channel regularly, then you'll know that I am primarily a digital artist, and all of the pieces and products I create are made using digital programs like Photoshop. But I have so many traditional art supplies and they just get neglected. But here's the thing. I often find that creating a physical piece of artwork using traditional supplies is way more therapeutic and just healing for the soul. I know that sounds a bit trite, but it's true. I always feel better mentally after using my traditional supplies, whether it's pencils, paints, or in this case, markers. So I stayed true to my word and I made this piece, and the result was something that I felt pretty proud of. There are some areas that I think need work. The hand is one of them. Trying to get that angle with the foreshadowing and everything was really tricky, and I'm really trying to challenge myself with drawing more complex hand positions lately, but it's clear that I still need some practice. But that is something that you have to deal with when you're creating a traditional piece. You have to get used to imperfections. If I was doing this digitally, then I would be able to, erase and redraw and resize, rotate that hand as many times as I wanted. But it's a lot harder to do that. Well, it's impossible, actually, to do some of those things using traditional mediums. And redrawing the hand was tricky because I couldn't erase the pencil so easily. So I kind of had to just get it to a point where I was kind of happy with it. I felt like it was close enough to the reference, and then just go with it. But that brings me on to my main topic. I'm sure some of you have had, in the past, art teachers say things like, don't be precious. Oh, Emily, don't be so precious. And you were probably a bit like, what? That's what I was like. I was like, what do you mean don't be precious? But I think as I've aged and gotten a little more experienced, I've realised a little bit about what they were trying to tell me. And that is that you can't worry about and overthink every little detail of your work, or else you'll never create anything. A finished piece of work with imperfections is 1,000,000 times better than a piece that you never even created because you were worried it wouldn't turn out perfect. I think this also applies to experimentation, which is something else I want to talk about today. As creatives, we naturally have our mediums and subject matters that we feel comfortable with, and know that if we stick to using those tools and techniques, then we have a higher chance of creating something technically good. But experiments are how we learn, and mistakes are how we grow. If you never take any risks with your art because you're afraid of ruining your work or something, then guess what? You'll never improve from where you are right now. Or maybe you will improve a little bit, but your art will feel stagnant and you'll wonder why you're not progressing as fast as your peers. And I'm not saying that you have to completely step out your comfort zone. Like, if you're a fine art painter, I'm not suggesting that you need to try metalwork sculpture in order to improve. Unless you really want to do that, hey, I won't stop you. I mean, that would be pretty rad to see, to be honest. but yeah, you do you. But experiments can be as small as using a different colour palette or combining mediums. For example, you'll notice that I started colouring this portrait by using blue for the character's skin, and that is the first time I have ever done that. My usual technique is to lay down a base that resembles the colour of the skin, so I would have started with that peachy tone that I layered over on top of the blue. And then I would go in with the blues or whatever to do the shadows over the top. But with this illustration, I basically worked backwards, and I really feel like it paid off. I love how the skin tones turned out in this drawing. It was even a risk to bring in that orange tone that you'll see a little later on, but without it, the portrait looked much more lifeless and dull. So just like that, I've figured out a new technique that I'll be using for future illustrations to improve them. Because when we're on our creative journey, that is all we're doing. You know, we're collecting new information, new techniques, new ways that we can use supplies and mediums to create better artwork. So I'll just be adding that to the bank. And I also want to add here, I know I'm not the greatest artist in the world, okay? I know I'm talking kind of like I know it all, and that is not the case. I think it's just the art teacher in me coming out, to be honest. But the reason why I am constantly trying to experiment and take risks with my art is because I know I am not as good as I want to be, and I want to be better. I want to be as good as my heroes one day, but I know that it won't happen if I keep doing the same thing over and over again. I think it was Einstein, maybe? I might have to fact check that. But he said something like the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you're not happy with your art and you want different results, then you've got to try new things, scary things. Don't worry, it's not that scary, I promise. I know the feeling when you make a drawing you kind of like and you're terrified of ruining it, but it just feels like something is missing. But that brings us back to not being precious. You created that drawing, you can create another one if you don't like the result of your experimentation. And honestly, guys, if I can be real with you for a minute, you are not going to like the results of all your experiments. But that's good. It's good. It means you've learned something. Like, okay, next time I won't use these two mediums together. Or maybe I shouldn't have added line art to this sketch. It's all stuff that you can use in the future, and the best part of art isn't even the finished result. It's the journey. Like, think about it. Why do you create? Is it because you like to have something nice to look at? Or is it because you enjoy the process? Because if it's the first one, then you can just buy something nice for your wall. You don't have to create art to enjoy it. Face it, the reason we create is because we love to do it. Like I said right at the start of this video, I created this drawing because I was feeling bad. Then I made the drawing, and I felt so much better as soon as I made those first pencil strokes. I didn't need to wait until the piece was finished to start feeling better. It just happened while I was creating, because I was creating. So the bottom line is, guys, try new things, make mistakes, and enjoy your craft, whatever it may be. Us artists are sensitive souls, and you've got to look after yourselves, okay? You've got to take care of that soul. Thank you so much for watching and listen to me ramble on. I hope you can take something positive away from this video. But before you go, I want to know something. What do you love about your craft? Is it a particular process, a specific material that's really nice to use? Or maybe it's the way that your craft makes you feel. For me, my craft is very much a form of escapism. I create characters that you wouldn't come across in the real world, because when I'm drawing, it's kind of like I'm in a completely different world, if that makes sense. Okay, I just poured my heart out, so now it's your turn. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!